Good morning and welcome to Monos featuring me, Monica Mo Justice. I'm a little earlier today because um, I did get a parking spot earlier last night, but um, a lot of things were happening overnight, all involving justice. Hey, Bad and Bougie, Miss Cows, how are you today? Um, Good. And you're just the energy I need to get to pop this out this morning. So thank you, lady, for listening, being here. Okay, and I know it's about almost 4 a.m. your time. Okay, um, I am. I'm in the battle. I'm in the battle. I told everybody that today I'm on my grind. I am in Jersey. Hey, MATC. I'm in Jersey looking for an apartment because I have slept my last fucking night inside that car. The other night, I was so frustrated because I had to go to the bathroom. Y'all just, it was just one of those moments, and it did not help what I was ingesting in my head at the time, and I should have just backed out of what I was taking in, what I was consuming. And that was, that's one of the things that was my goal for this week was managing a healthier me involved, or at least how I thought it worked out for the beginning of the week. A healthier me um, meant uh, basically dealing with my mind, body, and soul, right? And it was supposed to be focused on what I ingested. Ingesting also included not just what I put in my mouth. So I've been 11 days into the new year, meat free. Yay for me. Um, Weird thing about it, I don't know. Yesterday, I wanted teriyaki chicken and I just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And this time, when I'm on this mission, I am not accepting chicken as a substitute. The last time I was on this mission, I gave up everything except for chicken, fish, shrimp. And I only have shrimp. You did? So, um, so I haven't even, and I have bacon inside the refrigerator from the time I made bacon. The thing, it's still in there. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, it is so interesting that I have that willpower right now. Like I'm just like, yeah, no. All right, so let me go to the drawing board. I had so many things that I wanted to talk about with you guys, and they all surround justice. And I want to get back on there. You haven't done it in about a year. I had stopped. We stopped last year. 20. Was it this? No, we stopped 2018. And then I had a regimen where it was you, it was one chicken a month, one chicken product a month, and then I cheated with a taco. I had to have taco. I tried the taco, making it with the meat basting. No meat, no comprende. And then um so I had to have a taco, so that totally threw me off. And then sometime in the middle of last year, uh maybe it was the early summer 2019, when I started craving this steak, the grizzle from the steak from um, Longhorn. And then I started incorporating Longhorn grizzle. I, I swear to goodness. Especially towards the end, I was all in Longhorn, right? And then I had to have my medical procedure, and they did my labs and stuff. And compared to where I was at the beginning of the year when I wasn't eating any meats, I had higher numbers. So we were looking at that, and I was like, oh, so there may be some correlation between ingesting the meat products and what I'm doing. So I want to go back to that. Not to mention, some mofos have written comments on the shit to tell me I need to get rid of my neck and everything else. But I'm not beat up by the folks on this internet. I'm beat up by me. My worst critic is me. I suggest you find your worst critic. Yeah, I gotta figure it out. I'm just gonna stay away from the taco craze. But having been in this apartment for the year, this past year, I also feel that my weight gain back had to do with and don't get me wrong, I was much heavier in 2019, 2018. And it just all it so I was under a lot of medications because of the whole brain injury. So let me just because you two are new to me, and some people don't know the history when they come in here because they're new as well. I gave um, the meds when I entered 2018. I went med free, right? Because I felt like there was inconsistencies in me processing information. Um, and I was also without a job, and I was facing other shit going down the road. And I just was like, when you're looking for a job and you go to take all the drug tests and stuff, all of those toxins come out in a stupid drug report, and then you gotta go in with your medication and stuff like that. It just became a harder conversation to have with people while I was taking some of the things I was taking to help me focus. So then I just went back into spirit land and deep meditation and was like, I could do this. I'm not gonna allow an accident to steal my joy. And I sorted out, and that's how I got to where I am. And I will say that the channel has helped me a lot through that struggle, even though I didn't like document the struggle. But when I look back, like I was looking back at that King of Phone moment video the other day, and I could see the difference. I could see when I twitch, you guys don't see it. I had a real like I had some real reactions. Um, the crazy group of women that I was in, that's what they were highlighting when they were focusing on putting out the audio on me. And that's when I realized that women are just malicious at some points, just to be malicious. Um, and I didn't get it, but it is what it is. Okay, so I got rid of all. So in 2018, I did like detox. I got rid of all of the chemicals, even though I should still be taking something because I still have seizures as a result. But I took away all the Dilantins and the Tegratols and who takes Dilantin and Tegretol at the same time. So I've done a lot. You know, I've come a long way. So when people make fun of my speech here, I say fuck you. When people make when people make fun of me losing my focus, I say fuck you. Because when I have to work my real 9 to 5, I'm as focused as could be. But I have so many tools in front of me, organizational tools to keep me on task. It is ridiculous. Um, and I'm starting to think they're starting to realize it. The different methods I use. Um, I'm forever taking notes just to help me keep my sanity. But if I don't transfer things consciously from short term memory to long term memory, I'm in issues. Get the fuck out of here. And that's it. So that's where we were at, and that's where That's what started it. So that started my healthy challenge. So for this week, um, I just said enough is enough with the car situation. But T feels a certain kind of way because she's under stress where she's working at, and she wants to work in Manhattan. So she put in for a transfer to work in Manhattan. And when I'm gonna let you live just because I'm me. But if you act up, out you go. And I'm being very honest with you. Okay? So cause ain't nobody got no time to play with people in the people that come out of playpens. We don't got time for that. Only grown-ups here. So, you know, I know you still going through your adolescence, but don't do your adolescence up in here, okay? Anywho, um, so I have to figure that out, but I do not want to work I do not want to live in New York City anymore. That's just it. I don't want to come across the bridge. I don't want to do that. Well, then go in the lounge. Um, so back to our endeavors. One, what does it mean? This whole I think people have justice all confused. They expect people to coordinate. How do you what is the reasonable expectation when you're looking for justice? When you're running an organization that is out here um advocating or being having activists advocating for something, because now we done been through what is an activist, what does it mean to advocate for something. So when you have now got your people in a row and you're out here, you need financial backing, you need some kind of funding, and there's the shit that boggles me on this internet. So let's just take some examples. So full disclosure, since I've been here on the internet, I have given $1.99. In the 3 years that I've been here since the rise of the Kanika case, I've given $1.99. Um, yeah, to channels, content producers, and that was as recent as this week, right? And why? Because I don't believe in funding anybody. That's just my own principles. The people here have begged so much that it is just uh but I walked into 2020 with the determination that the things that I want to ingest for my healthy mind, body, and soul, I need to be able to put my dollars where my where my thoughts are at. You understand? So if I support somebody, in order to really support uh causes, things you believe in, you've got to back it with your money. Why are you laughing? You've got to back that shit up. You've got to really invest in it. So having attended, what do you call them, MATC? When I joined in, the people in the marsh peoples, having attended their protest gave me a whole new momentum, believe it or not. So Thursday evening, I scurried over to the case of, I physically took my ass there to the case of Harvey Weinstein. Now, I knew that the cornfields, all right, I went into the cornfields. I went into the cornfields again to see what they were protesting at the courthouse. I did not video record. It was freaking freezing on that evening. That's the same night that I was in the car until 5 a.m. So from Thursday evening into Friday. Thursday evening, I was out there, um, and I got a video. No, I didn't do video. I did a photo. I did some photos for y'all. There was about 200 people. I don't know if this got covered on the news or not, but there was about 200 people out there. It was virtually pitch black. Um, I This is the light from my camera trying to get y'all a better picture of this. See the stuff in the man's hand? Guess what they were handing out? Chant sheets. What the folks should be chanting. Again, I was propositioned by coordinators to see if I wanted to join, and I respectfully declined. And the woman got into depth questions with me, and she was like, do you support how do you feel basically about women that's been violated by men, women that's been taken advantage of by men, and this that. I said, you mean the new improved Me Too movement? So she said, oh, the new improved Me Too movement. She said, why would you call it new improved? I said, because it was started by black people and then white people sold it. She was like, but the cause was but. So but means I have a point, right? So then I went on and I was just like, okay. She then asked me, am I do I believe the victims? And I said, it depends on what you call a victim. So she's like, the women that were thing. I said, well, I don't necessarily believe that these women were victim all until I hear their stories. And I haven't heard their stories. I only heard media accounts of their stories. So I'll never get to hear their story because it's a closed courtroom in New York. They don't do the open courtrooms. I'm not gonna have any confidence in the stuff that comes out of it. So that's it. I'm just here to see how you folks organize your shit. Organize your protests and why. I said I'm on a mission to figure out why y'all don't get arrested at your protest. And I'm gonna tell y'all, it was the same type of coaxing going on there. With the chant sheets, the silent, the people just waiting around for instruction quietly. They were not shouting anything. There was no rowdiness. There was no bunches group. They were all there for a purpose. So I'm starting to see an overwhelming theme between their setup. I don't know how they get ups because they took longer than I anticipated um doing it. But their purpose for being there, because I asked, is to they're standing in a position, so they got pushed over to the side. But their purpose is to influence the jurors. That's all. That's who their target is the jurors, and that's it. Just so you know, my own personal beliefs on it. I believe that when we're talking about Harvey Weinstein or whatever, when we're talking about Bill Cosby, we're talking about men who had a position that women could advance it in that craft, right? This is my own belief. If I'm good at what I do, I don't have to sell my vagina. I don't have to put my vagina on the line to do it. You would accept me for my craft, the ability to do my craft efficiently, effectively, and without any remorse. if I have to sell my principalities, sell my body, give you my body in exchange for you allowing me to do my craft, I'm at fault for that. You can blame him as the process or however you want to blame it, but the underlying person that was the issue in that situation was the woman, in my opinion. And people are not going to want to hear that because they're going to say, oh, well, he had power and influence because you allow him to be the power and the influence. That's why he got out of control and decided that he could devalue you because if your role was just to get a role, if your goal was just to get a role in a movie, you didn't need to sell your body to get the role in the movie. You should have went in there and you should have acted and you should have been able to secure that position. And if you couldn't, then you should have been speaking out then. But people were willing to sleep with the enemy to make it to the top. They were willing to give those things up. Now that another generation has entered and they say, I value myself more, people now saying, I should have never had done that. It was degraded. And the worst part about it, and this is what I said to the lady, I said, there is a witness, though, that I saw on the news, and she closed it for me, and she's one of the witnesses here for this particular case. She closed the deal for me, and she said, in your negativity about, she said, maybe you should rethink this, the power of women, blah 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 blah. I said, well, this is what she said. She said that she was here because he committed a crime and should go to jail for it. And I felt as if she was his victim. What she should have said is, he violated me, and for that he should go to jail. So I'm talking to this woman and I'm telling her this. This other white chick is standing next to me and she was with the lady. And then when I said that, she said, which witness? I said, I don't know. Let's go through. I was watching the Aria. All right. So we go through my little phone thing, whatever, whatever. So she's like, I play the little fucking clip of it with the lady. And she says, oh, that is an odd statement to make. I said, just food for thought, but I'm not here to cause no problems. I just wanted to see again how y'all protest or whatever. I got protest contact information from the person. Um, and that was that. So at the end of the day, I think I put thought in their minds. And that was just it. That's just simple as could be. If you're looking for justice for something, you need to know what justice looks like for you. And the woman, and actually the woman on the clip, right, she's just saying, like he said, he she's basically saying, because he committed a crime, he should go to jail. But if the crime is against you, wouldn't you have passion enough to say, because he violated me, he deserves to go to jail? I've been in situations where I've been, like, honestly, two things. I've been in a car accident, right? And I felt the bitch should go to jail. You understand? I felt, and and the point where I was at where she could go to jail was when she kept it moving. Like, bitch, you hit me. I flew up in the air, ended up at the back end of your fucking car. I came down at the back end of your car. So not only did you hit me, you hit me with enough force that I had to go up and you had enough time to go over. I mean, I went up, you went by, and I went down. So we had enough space and opportunity between the two of us. Yeah. Did I had the opportunity, and so that meant you was gonna go. That means If I didn't have homeless people that once upon a time I walked through there and I was just nice and they saw this shit happen, that went into action, homeless people, who knows what my story would be like today. So I felt like that was hit and run. But my biggest element right now is that the turning point where they turn at is an illegal turn. And that's it. So that's the city that needs to fix that. And at first when I got hit, my deal was they just need to change the traffic pattern. And I'm hearing Newark talk mad shit about changing that traffic pattern. And one thing I know for certain is that if stupid Cory Booker was still the mayor, I'd have had a conversation with him, and by now that damn traffic pattern would have been changed and I would be paid. But it's the traffic pattern, it's the way in which it is, and they have a simple fix for that now. We see it everywhere you go. They put these white like bars up so that people don't intentionally go across the double yellow lines. She crossed the double yellow lines to make her left turn, that she turned into me. She wasn't supposed to make a left turn there. It's a special left turn lane to go into the Jersey Arts Building, whatever the fuck that is, where they have concerts and shit. It's a long lane. She was on that line. She was going. She had her kids inside the fucking car. She had a girlfriend inside the fucking car with kids. And they were just reckless. So they went to get off that line and they just turned into that block and hit me, the person crossing the street, and all in the right of way. And there was no yielding to nobody because she's not supposed to turn there. She went over a double yellow line. And the fact that, my whole shit is against the police department for the false report. It's not really a false report. She violated a traffic procedure. I was unable to go to her court date because I was not able to move around at the time. But my subsequent stuff has been involved in, and she's been like no remorse. It's just like people just believe that a vehicular mistake, as they call it, is just a vehicular mistake. And I think that there is a fine line between almost killing somebody for a little mistake or whatever. But I know what justice looks like for me. In the bottom line for that, it is more than the financial aspect. It is making sure that at one day that corner, that it's not even a corner, but that piece of traffic has, hey mama, that piece of traffic uh is put in some motion that they cannot just cross in there and slam into the people crossing that street over there. And that's just it. And she would have ran. So when I look at justice in that situation, I know it's twofold. It's making sure that I am someday financially stable with it, that all my needs are covered. Because if we ever get into an administration that wants to revoke and appeal and say pre-existing conditions are shun are not part of plans, that would mean a big deal. So you have to preserve yourself. So I know what justice looks like for me in that situation. But in all of these cases that we keep seeing up here, do people know what justice looks like for them? And are we willing to support people that are going to seek justice? So as you may or may not know, the Kenneka Jenkins story is back out in the open because MTV decided to put it in its true crime series. And they pose a question. Well, I can never remember the stupid question they posed. Because the question was not meant to be answered. Was this a what is the accident, tragic accident, or something uh calculated murder? Okay, well, be prepared for the original people on the YouTube, social media people to go in on that because a lot of people feel like it was a calculated murder. And everywhere you go, every state, once you hit, you are at fault because you hit a pedestrian. But you know what else is so crazy about this, Bad and Bougie? Because I had an automobile at the time, right? And I was insured. So I so they used my auto insurance in New Jersey. So I had New York auto insurance at the time. But I was not in my car. I was crossing the street. I was a pedestrian. I had to use my New York auto insurance. In New Jersey, because I'm part of that now, in New Jersey, you don't have to have full coverage. You can just have limited liability coverage on your vehicle. This car that hit me had limited liability. So on the add injury to this shit, all of my medical bills and stuff was covered by my insurance of me having no it had to be covered by my policy because New Jersey forces any motorist to present their insurance when it's related to a vehicle, vehicular. Those are laws that need to be changed. So that's another little issue of it. So I want to get back focused into that and really work on that because there's no reason why that should have happened. But that's how most of the medical stuff got covered. And the fact that, girl, this is so crazy. I was hit by a car while walking to my car years ago. Girl, it's karma. It's what's in the air. Okay, so moving back to the Kanika case. Okay, calculated murder. So now we're gonna have the clear people come through here again and try to explain to us. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been calling them the clear people, people of non-color, uh, the cornfields. The cornfields is gonna be when I'm out and shit. I ain't got no business doing. I go into the cornfields. Got it. But the clear people want us to now do what? Accept the accidental death. And I've been trying to piece it in my head legally around it. I have tried for since 2018 actually to really piece it around it. Yes, the clear people want us to focus on that. And I say no. So my first question to everybody is when does the civil case go to court? Because what did I tell you the lady told me at the protest they were there? They were there to influence the mindset of the jurors that there are victims out here and people are in support of the victims and you should be too. Now, I'm not all that supportive of Kanika's mom, right? Um just because I draw the line when I look at justice cases, right? I'm looking at the criminal side of it. For me, Monica. I'm looking at the criminal side. That's why like in Botham Jean's case, I'm looking at the criminal side. I don't care what happens financially for the family. If they win money, don't win money. I have no stake in that. They're not going to give me no damn money. They're not going to fund a Monica Mo Justice to go out here and do more justice. This is just something that's going to benefit them for their loss. I don't have no stake in that. So I don't care. I draw the line at what happened in the criminal side. There's never been a criminal side of the Kanika case. So I am not mad and I support the efforts of a straight drop right at this moment who is convinced or always has been convinced somebody did it. So these people with their crazy ass comments, like for instance, you've been riding the kids, like you put all those kids in jeopardy by asking questions and so on and so forth. And I say to you, the kids needed to answer some questions. But I do say this. When I saw the clips that Straight Job put out, had I been watching the video stuff, I couldn't watch the video stuff back then. I couldn't watch it for my own personal medical reasons. The footage bothered me, so I didn't watch the footage back then that much. But from the footage I saw and my thoughts all along, I honestly thought the kids were playing hide and go seek or some shit inside. Like they were playing around inside the hotel, having themselves a good time because they was in the hotel, and some shit went bad. But having seen the clips the other day, I would have to say they looked like they looked like they was looking for their friend. However, they look for their friend. But you did need to hear from the kids, whatever happened, to get a clearer understanding. But it was always clear to me that the hotel, if the children that the if the young adults who were partying in the room were responsible for her death, the hotel would have freely given up evidence of outsiders, people that they're not responsible for causing her death. Even if it had been another um, guest at the hotel, they would have clearly gave up footage, and I'm using the words very carefully, provided footage that demonstrated um, a guest, any guest, the guests of the Kanika party that were partying with Kanika, that any guest did it because it would have removed their responsibility, their duty. So when they told us, you have to ask yourself, what did they tell us and what didn't they tell us? When they told us that they uploaded exe files to the system that could not be manipulated, my question immediately became, what format were those files in before they became EXEs that the police department uploaded to you? All software from security companies are proprietary to that security company. People design software products for the companies that they work for. I saw recently in a case, and I wrote this somewhere in it. So this is why I'm explaining it so people can understand what I wrote. I watched the case of the police officer that was shot in Arizona. Casey was his name. So in that police officer shooting, um, the state trooper, the Arizona state trooper that was shot. What's the name of the person that shot him? Hold on a second, because it's actually his trial. Where's my brother from another mother? It's not one of those I'm gonna follow the appeal. Casey 30. Hold on a second. Officer shot in the face in Arizona. See, I don't even remember the person that shot him. Hold on. Let me see the text message. She could have been that drunk that she wandered into a freezer though. She could have. That's not the I'm not disputing. Me personally, I'm not disputing that she walked into the freezer and she was that drunk. I'm concerned with not explaining thoroughly enough why she looked the way she looked in the pictures that they released. Like I'm like, why would just the condition of that she was in? It looked like she was in a fight, and that's what the question is. I'm not saying she didn't wander down the hallways. I'm not saying that she wasn't drunk enough. I'm not saying that she didn't lay. I agree with all of those things. She sat down on the floor or whatever. I'm not feeling a certain kind of way about that. I'm feeling a certain kind of way. I believe the questions that are being presented, that have always been presented, are fair questions. And as I said, the folks went on the steps to intimidate not intimidate, to remind the jurors that there are victims and the victims are outside and people support the victims and they should support victims as well. MTV has a platform big enough that it hits, because I didn't watch it on MTV, I watched it on VH1, so that it hits all of the different um, type of networks. MTV is not just black, so they are focusing. It's there. It's information that other people could process. And if you got a world of jurors now that are going to come from a Rosemont area, and they're going to be young adults that probably watch MTV, and they're going to now be synthesized that they've heard this story or they've had some exposure to it in the civil case, because in the civil cases, the jurors are people too. They will look at your situation. They will look at the situation and say, but it was just an accident. So this story supports, in my view, the way it was presented, it supports strongly the case of the hotel, that it was an accident. Yes, they probably should have had that area cordoned off so that no one could have wandered around and ultimately died in there. But she was responsible for her death. We have a role in that. We provided the venue that she died in, but she was so drunk as a skunk that she caused that. But if they're not looking at anything else that may have occurred when she went back there, which involves their employees, it's crazy, because I saw a lot of neglect from their employees. But I'm not saying that anyone did anything, because we didn't get enough evidence. And I keep hearing people ask what organ was taken, the thymus. I don't think she was drunk. I think she was drugged. She was incapacitated. But what they will say, because the party because the party occurred upstairs, who knows what they was doing in the party to get there. I mean, those are some crazy ass drugs that I don't know. Let me just say this: I'm not litigating this on here or not. I'm supporting those who feel that there's been an injustice and they want to pursue further. I'm in support of them doing that. Now, on this social media, I have this lady that keeps asking me, "How do you join? How do you join something?" So let me see if I find somebody. Roland Martin. I think he's the page. Roland. Oh, and I did listen last night. Okay, this is a prime example. This is for the person that keeps asking me in the chat. I'm in the chat room for somebody. They keep asking me how to join. You see how the person's channel has a subscribe button and then it has right next to subscribe, join. You hit on the join button and it will tell you when you hit the join button, because that's all I hit. I still have not subscribed to the channel. Uh, what you need to do, how much you need to pay to join, and what you get for joining. In this man's case, he's named it and they give it a name. And it's hashtag Bring the Funk Fan Club L1, right? Level 1. For $4.99 a month, you get loyalty badges next to your name in comments and live chat, custom emojis to use in live chat. And that's what you get from Bring the Funk Fan Club 1. Then they got Bring the Funk Fan Club 2 for $9.99 a month. You get all the same shit from above. Let me see, what about your name and member status may be publicly visible and shared by the channel with third parties to provide perks. And then he's got the $19.99 level. But this is like somebody with a big platform who has this. It gives you more. It's perks for you, the subscriber. So that's where that is, just in case, like, I don't know why this person keeps writing me, asking me, and I'm just like, there it is. It's next to the subscribe button. Even if you subscribe, the subscribe button would be shaded in, and then it says join. I don't, she wasn't raped, so I don't see any reason for someone to kill her. Um, Again, from my perspective, I just want to know why she looked the way she looked when they showed us the pictures. Cause as she was walking down that hallway, I didn't see her flicking fingernails. I didn't see her doing anything for what the final looks like. Why she looked the way she looked. That's all. Just explain to me why she looked the way she looked. And that's it. Again, um, I'm not against somebody wanting to know that. Yeah, I'm not against somebody wanting to know that. They're within their right, or maybe a racist. I listen. Right now, they're following leads and tips and stuff, but I'm just asking why now. I mean, they had in that MTV question, they had clips from um, people that are obviously dead that they interviewed. So before they died. So that means for me, that tells me that they were considering doing this conversation for a minute. So this was nothing new to the network. They were going to put it out because they collected this footage since 2018, because people that they were speaking to died in 2018. So they had interviewed people in 2018 for this. So the question becomes, why release it in 2020? Whose benefit is it for? And that's it. Again, I'm just supporting people's right to do that, to look into it further, and anything that I could do in terms of supporting their ability to do that, I would. And that's it. Until the day, the mother says to people, I want y'all to stop. It's violating me. But that's crazy. Um, so last night there was somebody else interviewed, another YouTuber, interviewed the, what do you call a person? The producer. So we had some clear people around here interviewing the producer of the MTV show, and they did it on their Facebook. So I definitely is not going into no Facebook situation, but I did hear some of it because I went into somebody else's room that was airing it. And thank you, shout out to that person. I'm not saying no names, only because I don't want the clear person to be upset. But I watched it somewhere else and I shared the frustration of the person that was airing it. One, I don't like the clear person that had that did the interview, right? I don't like her because her name, she doesn't live up to her name. And I'm all about a name. So for me, she doesn't live up to her YouTube name, or that persona. And she definitely um, doesn't. I don't value how she chases the information. And I've had a conversation with her before on this. She's been very upset, like, oh, you kids call me bitches and stuff like that. And getting into, because I said, oh, this bitch, right? Figure of speech around here, but clear people don't understand what it means. Doesn't understand black lingo. They get in their personal and want to take it to the professional side of it. So is it right? No. Is it part of my speech? Yes. Was she offended? Of course. So, but to distract, I don't like to do I don't like to deal with it. So I'll just say this. She doesn't live up to her name. She doesn't encapsulate what the name says. And the side of information that she's always been on and how she's come across, I just don't. I can't appreciate it. And that's it. And I sent her on a mission one time to go find some information. And she told me she would, and I never heard back from her again. So that either meant the person would not release it to her so she could see for herself. But the bottom line was, I'm clear that she was in a room wherein I was being spoken of in the negative, and someone started a whole campaign that involved the GoFundMe, and she was there when he was discussing what he did. So it was just crazy. All right. So now you have to follow them in their investigations over there because they're following some tips um on the other channel, which brings me to this. When you have these join pages, see how I get so sidetracked? When you have these join opportunities and you're telling people to join and so on and so forth, that means that the people that join are going to have access to some other perks. So the person put on their wall or their, so I guess it was a note, and I had to change one of my settings so that I could see video and post because I wasn't seeing video and post. And this is what I will say because I know there is a female channel that I will definitely join in and support, but I won't support Patreon. So if they do support in a different way, and I'm not talking about Cash App and stuff like that, I look at things. I look at things for what, more professional tools. I will support those. I will support that. I just the reason I'm not sitting up here trying to make no Patreon, I'm not trying to figure it out. Um, it's just not the things I want to. It's just not the way I want to go. Darn, where's the damn thing? It was right up here earlier. I didn't even know YouTube had storylines or whatever, but they do. Here, I think no, it's not this one. I didn't even see that picture. That's such a sad picture. This is why we be doing shotties of everything, and that's what I should start doing. But oh, just be you got another thing out. I didn't know this. Let's go to Malia Davis.
Also breaking, the father, Malia Davis, tried to attack the man connected to the child's death and disappearance. It happened today during a hearing in family court. The district attorney tells us Craig Davis jumped over a barrier in the courtroom and lunged at Darian Vince. Deputies managed to stop Craig. Vince is charged with tampering with a corpse and injury to a child. He told activist Quanell X where police could find his stepdaughter's body, which led to the discovery of her remains in Arkansas. As for Craig, he will not face any charges for today's incident. Tonight, we're learning more about an.
Mm. Interessant. Very interessant. Very interessant. If you don't know, Malia Davis is the young the little girl who was where's my Malia Davis page? Darian Vance is my page 24. Yeah, this is how I keep updated with stuff. What was yesterday? 110. So they probably all was in family court because they have children in common. Oh yeah. I feel like things would be totally different if Kanika was clear. I do too. I do too. I do too. We don't have the resources. When they had the case, I'll update y'all on this case. When they had the case of let me go. You guys know I got this bullet journal that I'm using, and each of the pages in the bullet journal has a number. So there's a key in the front that I write down what the topic was for the page, and then I just go back to find it. Uh, the police officer that was arrested, Gerald Goins, he's my page 22. So I could have multiple topics in this book, and they're just on different pages. All right. The retired officer when they so this well he's retired now, but in January 2019 he swore out an affidavit for a drug bust, and they initiated, this is in Texas, Houston, Texas. They initiated the drug bust, and th- it turned out that the warrant was false, uh, was based upon false. He swore out a false affidavit. the information wasn't true. And during this botched uh, drug bust, the police department executes um, the homeowners and their dog. Consequently, the homeowner was shooting back and took no officer lost their life, but one officer was paralyzed, and this officer, Gerald Goins, was shot in the face. He's been subsequently arrested on the state level for that case, and then he's been indicted on the federal level. So he's been indicted on the state level and indicted on the federal level for the actions involved in this case. As a result of being indicted on the state level, every case that he worked while being a police officer, that he testified and provide information, is coming under scrutiny. And this week, one of the people arrested um, and convicted and who had done time uh, was, I want to say, exonerated. And he is a black cop. And that's the reason I'm following this, is because I'm looking at it from the perspective um, of, is there justice? Because when we see all of this stuff going on with police officers, right? Do they, do they, does that code of blue really hold up? Because he is a police officer, or was a police officer. He just happens to be a black police officer. Will he serve time behind this? It's looking, obviously, yes. He's taken lots of hits. He got a fire um uh attorney, white lady, clear people. She is definitely advocating for her client. Um but he more than likely will be found guilty of all this stuff. He was arrested again this week. Well, he was brought into court and he pled the fifth in that case. So that means he, um, for providing falsified information in a case that resulted in another man going to jail for several years, and so on and so forth. So he's got a third case now, um, in court. The reason why I brought him up to go with Kel's situation is that the family involved in the bot. So I wanted to give you a whole background of him. Now I'm going back into the family involved in the botch murder. Um, the family that was executed, the husband, wife, and a dog. What did their family do to seek justice? Their family retained an attorney. Their attorney hired a forensics team to go through the house after the house was released back to the family after the Houston PD finished their investigation. And their forensic team went through the property and wrote up whatever reports that they wrote up. This is how white folk, the clear people, this is how the clear people handle these situations. They ain't been protesting in the streets. They're gonna sue. They definitely got a case to win. Um, they definitely have a viable case, and they've been holding them accountable. So what does that mean? Now, yes, they own the property. So of course, once the police turn the property over, they can go in and hire and retain their own forensic scientists. The Rosemont was a private facility, so you probably couldn't have hired your own investigators to go in there and do it, or maybe you could have. And these are the things that we have to put in place. if we ever want to see justice. But we have to mirror the behavior of the people that we want the same results that they got. That's all I've been saying on all of these in all of these situations. Um you can use the same scenario with uh a Tatiana, a Tatiana case, a Tatiana Jefferson. Those attorneys, once they got the house belonged to them, right? Once they got the house back in their hands, they should have had their own forensic people doing their own forensics of the place. We need to mirror the behaviors that we see other people do to get similar results or better. But the results that we're yielding leave us in the lose-lose category. And I don't understand how we got there. I'm gonna tell you, somebody sent me a text message this morning. You had me so upset. I can't focus because of your silly text message that has no meaning, that I don't even know what the hell it means. And that's that. So that's Mr. Goings. Let me see who else I wrote about this week. If I wrote about somebody else. I'm still doing my research on the Electoral College. You have the right to return fire if they don't identify themselves. To probably a case like that. Um. Okay. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So they violated her. What that officer did was a violation of her Fourth Amendment right. She was in her house. She was in her person. Um, I went to it because of the whole Fifth Amendment argument that we had up here the other day. Okay, can I segue into that Fifth Amendment discussion? And I should have did it on that day when I had what's his name up here, when we were talking about being stopped by the police, by a police officer. Nicola raised the question on the platform. She said, if you're stopped by a police officer and the police officer is aggressive, um, how should you respond? And then he wanted to know all the scenarios, why you got pulled over and everything else. And another, I think it was Nikki C, said she would exercise her Fifth Amendment. She don't have to answer any questions. And I said that by saying you don't have to answer any questions at that time when you're just being asked to produce your ID will render you more than likely being taken into custody, being detained until they can ascertain who you are. It only then moves the conversation from not why I stopped you. Who are you that I need to find out more information? So you're giving them more reason to probe deeper, even though you're feeling violated. So I reached out to some people that I know that were police officers, that are former police officers, to have the conversation, but they wanted to go through my channel to see what I do up here. So hopefully they'll go through my channel and then they'll want to do the interview. And I'm saying this like this because you should just want to do it, because I just wanted to ask you one damn question about a few series of questions about stop and frisk, again from a New York perspective. But I contended that it was an inappropriate usage of your Fifth Amendment when you're just stopped in the street. Because by citing your Fifth Amendment, in my opinion, you're citing your Fifth Amendment by saying, I don't want to incriminate myself for something else. So, in the case of Mr. Goings that I just spoke on, the police officer who's been arrested for the third time in a case, right? He cited Fifth Amendment. He pled the fifth in that case for now, all right? Because he would be admitting to doing false, creating false documents, right? And if he admits to creating false documents, then he's self-incriminating himself that yes, he did it. So we can't go into this guy's case and say, yes, I falsified the document, because he would, that would be an admission of guilt in another case. They can use that against him someplace else. So he has to go in and say, I plead the fifth. So that means I can't answer your question here in this courtroom because it's subject to me in another courtroom and another procedure. That's what I was trying to explain about the fifth. The Fifth Amendment says no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment of indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia. So, they have their own courts over there. When in actual service in time of war or public danger. All right, so that's for the military part of it. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or liberty. So that means that section of the Fifth Amendment means you cannot be tried a second. Like if you went to court and you were found not guilty, they cannot go back and try you again. You already had a verdict of not guilty. That's covered under the Fifth. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. That's what pleading the fifth is, being a witness against oneself. Nor nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So you can't just take somebody's shit and use it for yourself. But under the fifth, that's why I just wanted to really clarify it. Let me just read that part again. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Oh, sir, I'm so angry with you. Good day, Mr. Boogie. Um, that's the Fifth Amendment. And I'm gonna do a better job next time, making sure that I all right. So the other day I'm sitting up in here, right? Y'all may recall I was like, this plane fell out the sky. Boogie says, "Oh, you know those planes have issues with them. They having mechanical issues." I do have to leave before 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to, cause I'm in an 8 o'clock spot. What you say now, sir? I'm up to the point this morning where the people have now admitted that they shot the shit out. That not that they shot it intentionally out the sky, that their missile hit the plane. So the Iranians are admitting that their missile hit the plane. They done shot plane down. Well, you told me that the planes, the 727s, the fleets were having all kinds of issues. The Boeings. It doesn't matter that the plane. Oh, don't write all in caps. You know Nightbot. You just woke Nightbot. He's like, "Hey Mo, we got Boogie." Yes. So can we do some predictions, conversations? You can send me links about what I know the plane is under. I know the plane has problems. But in this particular plane situation, it had nothing to do with the plane having problems. These people shot the shit out the air. Well, let me go back. They didn't shoot it out the air. The As a result of them issuing their missiles, one of their missiles shot the plane out of the air. Yeah. But it wasn't their intended target. Their intended target was getting back at the killing for their for their leader. So, how do you think this is going to play out in the coming days? Because I'm waiting for them to consequently blame it on the U.S. Because if it had not been for the U.S. killing their man, they would not have killed. They would not have had to strike back. Yeah, I'm like I was thinking I was thinking something similar. Like I was like, are they working hand in hand? Now I'm gonna say there's something funky going on, and the powerful eight who were not allegedly not because I'm doing allegedly now, who were not allegedly advised of this have been very quiet on this. I'm just saying the powerful eight have been very quiet on this. They've only let Agent Orange out here telling his story four different ways till Sunday. And that's that. and that's it. Um, so we'll see. I feel like I had another case that had an update. I'm gonna have to start putting stickies to make sure when I do the updates that. Let me just look through these on the and I believe we should be going back to the Lorenzen. What's the basketball player's name? Oh, I know what it was. It's R. Kelly. Yeah, I'm not covering that. I done. I had a whole evening, morning of R. Kelly. I have to digest that in a minute. But Lorenzen Wright, the that should be going to trial. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was this month. Yeah, something's going on there. We'll have to we'll have to follow up on that. Oh, I don't have time to go through this. That I did write about this, and I shared with y'all the Harvey and Weinstein, and I gave y'all the screenshot. The next thing we're gonna cover in my police officer theme shit, right? Um, Blue Lives Matter. In my Blue Lives Matter category. Did you know there's a rise in suicides for police officers? So they have more officers complete. I got to get the statistics, so I'm waiting to see if it's going to be from 2016 or what year we're going to get statistics from. Maritime, no. What do they call? No, they have a no, they got police officers. Um, so I saw a case. Stop saying no. They got police officers. I think this lady is suing. I think there's a case where a lady is suing because her husband committed suicide, and yeah, I think it's a court case. So I'm gonna go see about that. But it's just that police officer suicides are on the rise, and I want to get an idea as to why. Well, it came out of when I was doing the search for what Nicola asked her question about them being hostile, and having a lot of stressors that may contribute to them being more aggressive when they encounter you. Yes. Police officers and NFL players apparently have a high rate of domestic violence. But remember, domestic violence situations are contingent on the victim reporting it. So where we see these things, hey, Mr. Williams, and I'm almost out of here, to see these things occur, or to get actual statistics, it takes people to admit they're the victims. So some of these things be silent crimes. Police officers also have a high rate of domestic violence. All right, there are specific rules to shipping starboard and all kinds of weird terms. Uh, um, Waterboarding, you mean? Um, oh shit. There is something. What's the new? Because Nancy Pelosi is going to send the articles of impeachment over to the in the upcoming week, this week coming up, she's going to send the articles of impeachment out. In addition to that, they are. They are. I agree with you that they're citizens. That actually COP stands for, or maybe that was just out of the show. Citizens on Patrol. Um, and I agree. I don't really know what it if it really stands for that. There are restrictions on your war powers. And she's going to send another bill. They're working on a bill, or they were passing a bill to limit Trump's ability to do something. Um, but I found that interesting as her response. And that's the only responses. So again, they didn't respond to Trump's shit as much as they've reacted by putting some safety nets in place. I don't know. People are all up in arms talking about this guy should testify. Once they start messing around with these Iraqis, Iranians, and whatever, however you say their names, and I apologize for any disrespect. I really don't know. I then start to look around. I then start to look at the president and see the men around him. I consider it all the president's men. And that's why I said Pence then stands out, because I remember Pence as clear as freaking day. I gotta find it. Pence was like, he was like, oh, we found weapons of mass destruction. So they're there. Like, it was just like he was so fucking excited that they found some weapons of mass destruction. So I was like, you know what? This is just crazy. So that was it. I'm probably gonna take y'all on the road with me to my car. You and somebody else said Pence ordered this. I believe that well, now they're showing clips of when uh Trump said to us, I believe so too. I believe this was the distraction Trump needed from impeachment. But I also believe that behind my assessment right now is that the Republicans have stood on their sword too much for him. And they now have him in the place because of the impeachment where they want him so that he can conform. And I feel like we're going to see a different Trump in the front, just like we saw with Bush the second Bush, where we know Cheney was running everything. Right about, but Bush was still the head figure because Bush brought in the numbers, and Cheney would have never been able to win as a president. He would have never been able to serve as a president and win the vote of the people, Cheney, but Bush could. And I think that's the same situation they face with Donald Trump. He's got their baseline, that 30% of the white supremacist groups that are supporting him, and that vote that they don't want to lose. His base is too strong. So they will leave him there as a figurehead, and he will just be a puppet, and Pence will pull the states. Once they went in this direction, I felt as if Pence had more influence over the president than what was usual. Hang on, let me take y'all on the road with me to the car, cause I gotta. If y'all want to go, um, yeah, Darian, I can't talk about the Dow, but you can. You can share all that information. I just listen. On that note, I will listen. I won't preclude you from saying anything about it, but I can't speak on that. Yeah. And actually, I can't speak on that. But the question, Darian, becomes this. How are the people doing? in the country? What's the state of the people's economics? Da 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 da. All right, I was just making sure that the phone is connected. Okay, so we're on the go. I'm taking this to the road. I've just gotta shut this computer down. I was gonna take the computer with me today. I'm looking for apartments today. Boogie, in 1 week I've had my car hit on the street. And then I really overnighted it in the car looking for parking one night, and I just had a nervous breakdown afterwards. So that's it. It's not, you know what though, when I look at the finances, MATC, most of the people involved in the most of the people involved in the stocks and stuff are who run it are Democrats. They have a Democratic backing. They're not Republican. They, the companies, the banks, mostly back Democrats. That's why there was a bailout. All right, I got my keys. It has my card in it. My bank card is in it. If I use that at work yesterday. See, I'm gonna come back around the block so I don't get a ticket. But you have until 8:30 or 8:45. All right. We're on the move. Because all I would have did was sit back inside the car and talk to y'all. I can't see the chat right now because I better not have left my hat upstairs. Yesterday it was amazingly warm. It was like 50 something degrees. Shout out to the people in Texas because it sounds like y'all had all the bad weather. And the rest of us didn't. Let me see what you said. I can see it now. Um, I'm looking at a place next week. Time to move. Wish I could go to Jersey, but baby coming. What you mean you wish you could go to Jersey? Yo, don't fall asleep on Jersey. Because it's still warm out here. Uh the north part of Jersey that's really accessible to New York by just a train or a bus into the city are viable options. Just for me, I like to live. Look at this shit. Hold on. Oh man, I can't even show y'all this shit because I'm not under. Hold on, I'm not under the camera. But let me see. I can't change the camera. I don't think. I'm gonna show you this guy riding some crazy looking motorcycle. What can y'all see? Oh man, he already left. Fuck. I'm like so slow with this. That was so wrong of me. Yes, I'm out and about. I don't like that it does the slow mo. So that's it. See the streets thing, but I'm ready to give this up. The only way I could give this up is just by making a move and doing one of my irrational steps. So that's where we find ourselves at. Me taking drastic measures. Now she a whole block away from the bus, telling the bus to wait for her. I need the other. I need to see the other facing camera. Let me see if y'all can see that. She she didn't think that bus driver was gonna wait for her, did she? She mad pissed. I'm mad pissed. Oh fuck. You know I ran my mouth with y'all. I forgot about the laundry. Oh boy, 1% is a mixed group, Dems and Republicans. I know I cashed out 300 this year. What's a cash out 300? I don't know nothing about that. The wildfires in Cali dropped PG&E prices down, and I bought it low. So did high. Scam or not, making money pleases me. Uh, why do y'all need babysitters? You have to have mother needs to stay with child for at least 12 weeks. There's separation anxiety babies go through when they're separated from the mother too early in the process. That's why we have early child this is why there's detachment issues in this motherfucking space that we in. Cause people it's really a nice day today. It feels like it's fucking 60 degrees out here. Y'all will not believe I have to go through this whole shit of taking. Oh my god, look at this rat. Stay over there, rat. I don't fuck with the rats, okay? The rats I don't fuck with. These motherfuckers bold as hell. They in the street, just like walking with you. Lean with it, walk with it. Oh, and a brand new apartment to do it in. Okay, because we both professional typers. She has her time already scheduled and planned. I don't know how she went from being somebody else's bitch to now she's super Casanova with professional life and everything. You killing me right now. You know I don't know how to I don't know how to process these kind of things. I be limited with my processing abilities with this stuff. When I pull over and find a spot to wait for my daughter that's not gonna give me a ticket. Oh, you know what I should have did? No, because I need to be facing the block going down so I could go out. Yeah. Is it that easy to find new apartments in New York? I don't want to live in New York and I don't want to do this commute anymore. I mean, this is just crazy. The whole thing is just crazy right now. My whole life is just crazy. I've been on this roller coaster ride ever since the fire. I've been on this mission ever since the fire, and it's crazy. Why this man is in the spot I wanted to be in? Oh, he parked the stupid bike. I don't know what kind of bike that is. There's a car behind me. I can't tell y'all what it is, but it's mad cute. But only someone living in the projects can have some shit like that and be okay. Be okay to thrive. He lives in the projects. He's got some nice ass motorcycles, and that's that. It's 8 o'clock. All right, so the street cleaners will come and clean the street. So I will park on the opposite side where you're not supposed to park, waiting for her to come out. All right, it's still live. I was just making sure it was still working. And that's about it. Ooh, what they got going on over here? I realize I'm nosy. And that's that. Hmm. I could take y'all with me to see the to see my apartment first. Let me see. Nope, can't take y'all with me. Cause then I'll be taking the docs and people with me. And then I'm thinking out loud. Then it becomes an issue. So I gotta think about that. Yep. Oh, what is that? I'm always worried about something. It is 59 degrees outside in New York in January. Does anybody believe in global warming now? Because 59 degrees in the middle of the winter feels like a summer cool breeze day. It's just absolutely cray cray. So I'm gonna park over here in front of the building, but on the opposite side. I'm gonna turn on the hazard light, and hopefully that'll make a difference. Now I can't go looking up anything on the phone. Any other conversation y'all want to engage in, I can have a one-on-one conversation with the chat. I could chat it up. I was wondering tomorrow should I do um the Sunday worship as a stream out of should I go back and use what was that thing? StreamYards to do so that people can call in. Do y'all want to do another open panel type thing? I haven't decided what I'm going to talk about on that Sunday worship. And I really don't have that much time because I think we're going to start packing. You think so? You think that'll be cool? All right, I'll go back. I'll come back out on that so that people could jump on. But I don't know because I think the conversation the other day it was like impromptu and it just warrant folk to speak on it. But I'll see. I'll do it. I mean, like I said, it's 20 hours free for the month. And since I don't use it as my primary, it doesn't. I'm using everything free. I wish I knew how to go on. I can't figure out Zoom to save my life. But Zoom has the capability. I just really want to just use their phone line because I think it would come into my system very good. I could have went back upstairs and got the laundry. I just feel like I'm a prisoner to my car because I don't want to get a ticket. Oh, look at the traffic dude. He didn't give out no ticket. What is that about? Oh, he gave that person a ticket. Okay. He doesn't give the bike a ticket. He doesn't give the bus a ticket. And he didn't give Spectrum a ticket. Very interesting. Let me see who he gives a ticket on the side. I'm surprised why he didn't give Alibaba's car a ticket. And this guy's always parking in the wrong spot. Oh, look at that man. He's jumping in his car now to get his car off of there. The car at the corner got a ticket. All right. No, he didn't give Spectrum a ticket and he didn't give the school bus a ticket. And he didn't give the motorcycle dude a ticket. The motorcycle's parked there. He didn't give it a ticket. Now he gave that car a ticket. The truck, the guy got in his truck. Let me see. The guy got in his truck. Let me see if he gives him a ticket. All right, he bypasses the guy that got in his truck. All right, so the guy sitting in his car, he didn't give him a ticket. I guess he giving him time to warm up his car. I can't see because it's damn. I'm gonna turn off my hazard light. No need to waste my battery. All right. He gave the car. That's kind of funny. He like blocked both cars. That's one job I don't want. I had a girlfriend that did that job, and she was confrontational. And I remember a big guy punched her in the face. She was out of work for like 5 weeks. Cause once you get assaulted, they let you stay off. They let you stay out of work to deal with your. So, oh man, I forgot. We going to the post office this morning. That's the. I was thinking I'm going to AHA. I was thinking I was going to AHA. I'm like trying to figure this out. Yeah, he just gave out tickets. He's a little late on the ticket stuff because normally he be out here at 8 o'clock on the dot. He was a little after 8. Yeah, that guy got a whole ticket. He probably gonna be really mad. But I'm surprised this dude. Oh, he didn't get a ticket because he was sitting in his car at the time. But his car is sitting in front of the fire hydrant. Maybe he got some New York City plaque in front of it. They're the only ones I see don't get a ticket. Official use vehicles. This is just crazy. Well, I don't have anything else to add. I gotta figure out what topic I'm gonna talk about tomorrow. It's just the only topic I don't want to talk about is R. Kelly. He disturbs my heart. But at some point I'm gonna have to take a position on him. And I'm just upset right now that other people are not arrested with him. I just feel like more people need to be going to jail. Hmm. Yeah, more people need to be going to jail with him. That's it. I wonder why Spectrum is here. They're the worst cable service I've had out of all the cable services. No, maybe it was Comcast, but I think no. Which one did I have? I had Optimum and thing. I am gonna focus my apartment search back. I decided I'm gonna focus it back in Newark because I want the skyline view of Manhattan and the flexibility of just going to the local. What you mean, same company? I'm not. I'm not. I'm gonna change my job after. Oh, would that be fucked up if I end up getting a job in New York? I didn't even think about that. No, I'm tired of the car situation. And it's not financially specking out. Same. Spectrum and Optimum are the same companies. Well, I'm gonna say this. Spectrum service in terms of the internet is okay, right? But Optimum service in terms of the internet was fucked up. But maybe, I needed to do what I did with this particular spot. Yeah, it's just way too much. Just way too much on my brain. And that's it. Anyway, I'm probably gonna get off here because I'm just sitting here. Let me see something. I don't even know what view. Oh, I still got it like that. Y'all should see me. I'm just sitting here with the mad face in the car. Let me see. Hmm. I got in the car and put on a damn hat. So I'm just sitting here with the mad face in the car. Mm-mm-mm. And I need to run upstairs and get the damn laundry so that I could do the laundry today because then I'm going to be frustrated that I didn't do the laundry. But this puts me in a bad situation because I can't park the car on either side of this street because he's going to come back down and give more tickets. But I know one damn thing. If I came downstairs and I had a ticket, I would not be trying to be moving the car. I'd be like, I already got a fucking ticket. So see he on the other side of the street handing out tickets now. See him? He happy as hell to give out the damn ticket. Happy as hell to hand out tickets. See what I mean? That I don't want. I don't want a ticket over there. Yeah, New York City. Yo, Boogie, remember the time? We gotta do a remember when. Remember the time you had that live and you was talking about how the chick was like, and you don't even have a car. It was like, I live in New York. We're not supposed to have cars. All right, so the person got in their car. The person got in their car, so they didn't get a ticket. At least he don't try to give people a ticket that are sitting in their car. But I'm sitting in this. No, I don't even know what the fuck zone this is. But check this out, right? I'm gonna show you the whole fucking school bus. Look at this shit. This whole school bus is just sitting there, right? And then I'm gonna turn a little bit like this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. This other school bus is just sitting there. I don't know if y'all can really. I don't know what I really showed y'all. Yeah, they just got school buses just sitting on shit. Um, she decides to text me. She's like, "I got your thing." Yeah, all you need is a. If I was wearing, I should have had on a hoodie today. This is my scarf. I got this for Christmas. I love this scarf. It has this little thing. I love it. It's nice and warm too. When I be sleeping in the car, it's nice and warm. I be like, oh, my scarf is good. Good to last drop. Well, you know what? I've been fortunate. I'm watching him because he's making a U-turn. You know me, I'm watching the traffic guy. Must be trip time. All right, she's coming down there. Must be trip time or something. Buses shouldn't be out. No, I think the people that these buses are always around here. So I think these people live in the area but drive the bus. And they take up spots because that bus normally parks on that's 43rd, 42nd, 41st. It is normally on 141st whenever I see it. Well, T's on her way downstairs. Goody goody gumdrop. So I will speak to you good people tomorrow. And tomorrow's morning show is only going to be like 2 hours because I really got to get my stuff in order. I'm lying, but it won't go past 12 noon. Anyway, this is Mo, and I've got to go. Thanks, Boogie, for hanging in with me. MATC. Darian for stopping, for coming through. Bad and Bougie. Kels, and I know it's a heart wrencher. And Miss San Francis. Did I miss anybody this morning? And all the rest of the influencers who probably was in bed. Thanks for coming over.